Better, Austin?
Check.
Okay, so public body comment? Okay, Trish, go ahead.
Yes, you're getting ready to make nominations, I think, for a...
Can you speak up a little? I'm
You're
sorry.
getting ready to make nominations for a board chair for the next 6 weeks, correct?
That's on the agenda for
That's on
tonight.
the agenda, okay. My concerns, I actually watched on Zoom the court proceeding that took place last Thursday. And I was a little alarmed that after it seemed to end, Mr. Ross with Mr. Allen, it looked like from the Zoom, it appeared from the Zoom, that he was right behind him when he approached the clerk. And then they had to call the judge back in and had to call the counsel back in. It seemed pretty inappropriate. I've never seen that happen, where they had to call the judge back, had to call the defense counsel back. And it seemed inappropriate. And it seemed like, and like I said, I'm watching from Zoom, so I'm not present, but how it looked to me, and I asked a few other people that watched how it looked to them, and they were in agreement that he was, Mr. Allen, it seemed to be leading Mr. Ross into questions to ask to the judge or to the clerk. Now, while you're getting ready to make your appointments, I would like to see that you appoint someone that has not had dinners previous to board meetings with the dogs, and that you try to avoid the appearance of impropriety. I'm not saying there's anything that might be happening that's inappropriate, but you should always avoid the appearance of impropriety. And I think the public deserves that, to have somebody that they trust for the next 6 weeks sitting in that chair. And I don't think that's Mr. Ross. And I think that he, with what happened with the dive team, speaks volumes as to why it shouldn't be Mr. Ross. Mr. Williams is also here. And he has not had a legislative meeting in 2 months. He did not make the last budget meeting. It seems to be that there's an urgency behind selling this farm. And where's the urgency for setting the 2025 budget, for getting an auditor for the 2023 audit? Where is that urgency? We need someone in that chair that has the right priorities. And if selling the farm is the #1 priority for our county, that's a problem. That can wait. It's in the court system. And as I heard the judge say, litigation takes time. So these other things that are very important for the county, the budget and getting an auditor for 2023, those should, I hope, take precedence. And I hope whoever you want to put in that chair makes those things a priority. And I hope it's someone who is not engaged with inappropriate behavior that the public perceives as inappropriate behavior. Thank you.
Public comment? Jake?
I was on Facebook this evening and saw some comments about Terry Kingston that I didn't care for at all. They were accusing her of missing $10,000, and I believe the Democrat Party went to Terry's office and talked to her, which is what I've done several times.
Jake, I don't want to interrupt you. You're fine with how it's going, but just please remember, I don't think we can campaign for any candidates in an open meeting.
I'm not campaigning for a candidate.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's a fine line and you stay on the right side of it.
I'm not campaigning for anything.
Okay.
I'm just saying how she was treated.
Okay.
And I don't think she was treated fairly. You know, Terry Kingston and other people have been accused, have friends and relatives. Why don't we attack them? I mean, when you attack them, you're attacking their family. I don't like that at all. I don't think Terry should be attacked for something that was made up that she didn't do. It's up to anyone here who they want to vote for, but I will, of course, make my own decision. So, another thing, who wrote these farm resolutions? disappear out of the sky? Or where did they come from and who approved them? I never, Kerry said, or he said someone approved them, but who approved them? Do you know? I mean, does anyone know? Evidently, according to the lawyers, it came very, some of them are illegal. Has he taken responsibility or not? But last September, he told Carol he wrote the resolution. I don't know if he really did or not, but I really don't think much of anything in my life. Anyway, that's my comment.
Thank you. Public comment? Public comment? Public comment. Oh, Jeremy, Sonny?
Go ahead, Jeremy.
No, Sonny, you go first.
So I just wanted to address the accusations of potential impropriety pertaining to the court proceedings. What actually happened in that event was I was in the courtroom during the court hearing. The state's attorney, Ms. Woolery, was asked some direct questions by the judge that she could not answer. I attempted to present myself to answer those questions, and the court clerk instructed me to sit down, not understanding that I was a board member and potentially could ask questions during the hearing. After the hearing, I approached the clerk and I just simply stated who I was and that I had a question for the judge. I was not trying to be out of order, and I apologized for any impropriety there. And she then asked me what my question was, and I addressed my question to her. And while I was asking her those questions and she was attempting to answer, a voice in the speakers said, "Just hang on, guys, judge is going to get back on and he can try to answer those questions." I sat down here. The judge did come back on Zoom. I addressed the judge with my questions and concerns. He acknowledged that those were valid questions and concerns, and then acknowledged that it was a very complex situation. After just a moment or two of speaking with me, obviously it was open, so there was several people paying attention via Zoom. The judge acknowledged that he and I should not be talking without counsel, so he instructed the clerk to notify Mr. Stocks and someone to notify Ms. Woolery. I stepped out in the hall to get a drink of water as Ms. Woolery was coming down the hall, and I explained to her essentially what my questions were. I had zero intentions of actually speaking to the judge, nor did I have any intentions of blindsiding Ms. Woolery, but that I had some valid concerns. The judge had Mr. Stocks on camera. Ms. Woolery sat here in this chair beside me. All three parties acknowledged this is a pretty complex situation. They acknowledged my concerns were valid. And the end of that conversation was that the judge recommended this board have a meeting and elect a chairman so that that court proceeding can move forward. As it stands right now, it's difficult to move the court proceedings forward without a board chairman. So there was no fishy business. Yes, Mr. Allen did stand up, and I have no clue what Mr. Allen said because I shushed him. When he was talking to me, as I was talking to the judge, I said, "Shh, I can't hear him." So I don't know what he was saying, what he was trying to say, but yes, he did stay, and he sat down over there. But he and I had zero conversation leading up to that situation. The judge acknowledged the concern. Ms. Woolery acknowledged the concern. Ms. Woolery and I have had 2 or 3 conversations about this, trying to get it resolved. The judge recognized, Ms. Woolery recognized, the first step in that process is this process. So that's why we're here today. Thank you.
Jeremy?
Yeah, thank you. I'll try not to call you Mr. Chairman. Okay. I have something a little off all those topics. Late this summer, a complaint against me was submitted to the Hatch Act unit of the Office of the Special Counsel in Washington, D.C. For those who may as yet be unaware, the Hatch Act is a federal law which prohibits executive branch civil service employees from among other things, submitting themselves as a candidate for partisan political office, such as this one. Also, for those who may not know, for 9 years I have worked for a division of the United States Department of Agriculture. Last Tuesday, I was contacted by an attorney in the Hatch Act unit, and I answered his questions and cooperated fully. I patiently, but with an understandable amount of expectation, awaited the unit's official written decision. But then this cowardly attack on my occupancy of the position of county board took a much more interesting turn. Last Friday, the pusillanimous nature of this political attack was brought to bear, and I choose those words specifically. I received an anonymous printed email thread in my mailbox. At least the craven-hearted wimp splurged for a Hallmark envelope. It wasn't much, just an email thread in which was stated that the complaint was received, an update was asked for, and my USDA employment was confirmed. But the coward complainer counted their Hatch Act chickens before they hatched. Also last Friday I received, and I therefore assume also the complainer received, the official written determination from the Deputy Chief of the Hatch Act Unit. It was dated October 18th, 2024. And in that letter are stated the following 3 points. I have shortened them for purposes of time, but I'm going to make the document available. 1, Office of Special Counsel has concluded that you did not violate the Hatch Act, and we are therefore closing our file in this matter without further action. 2, you continue to work for the USDA as on an occasional or irregular basis. As such, you did not violate the Hatch Act. 3, furthermore, you are not violating the Hatch Act by actively being a member of the Shelby County Board as alleged. Now that would seem on the surface to be the end of the theatrics, but as with any time scarecrows and lions engage without brains or courage, the story doesn't end there. I have more quotes from a different document. There are 4. 1, the Hatch Act does not prohibit you from being a candidate for county board. 2, these restrictions apply differently to employees who work on an irregular or occasional basis. 3, such employees are subject to the Hatch Act's prohibitions only while they are on duty. Therefore, such employees are not, for example, prohibited by the Hatch Act from running for a partisan political office, such as this one. 4, the Hatch Act does not prohibit you from being a candidate in the partisan election for county board. Now, I've quoted 2 different documents. You may be asking what the second one is. It's an advisory opinion from the Chief of the Hatch Act Unit of the Office of Special Counsel in Washington, D.C., dated November 24th, 2020. My 2020 vision saw this coming 4 years ago. I reached out to the Hatch Act Unit of the Office of Special Counsel myself with this same question. I had this document 4 years ago, and all the complainant had to do was ask. The coward is always the last to arrive on the battlefield, and they're 4 years late. I'm 4 years ahead in playing this ridiculous little game. Lastly, I'm going to ask you to think about whether this might not be the only thing I'm ahead on. Perhaps there are policy matters on which I'm equally prepared. When I advocate for a position, it's because I've read and researched, unlike the complainer. And now that I've been wrongfully attacked and accused, I wonder who in the public will jump to my defense. Thank you.
Public comment? Public comment? Public comment. Okay, John?
I'd just like to second what Tricia said. I think it needs to be a priority. Should have been a priority for a long time with the audit situation and with the budget. I mean, that is the business of our county, and that's what the board is assigned to do, among other things. And to be a couple of years late with the audit, to not have a budget going forward. Those are, might be a reason for an emergency meeting. It might have been a reason to put those things as a priority in the last few months, but here we are. So I think that, it needs to be a priority going forward. I'd just like to second what Tricia said.
Public comment? Public comment? Public comment. Okay, so we'll move on to announcing the vacancy, County Board District Number 7, due to the resignation of Robert Orman, and announcing the vacancy of County Board District Number 2, due to the resignation of Mark Bennett. So now, we will accept nominations for Shelby County Board Chair. Is there anything specific we need to do? Okay. Martha?
I'd like to nominate Sonny Ross for board chair.
Okay.
Second. Motion to close nominations, if I might, Madam Chairperson.
Do we get to discuss it before you close it? Okay.
Do you want to go through with your motion and have it?
Yeah, because you can discuss that, and if people don't want to close the nominations, they can vote no.
Okay. So motion to close nominations. Or
Lori, second.
Okay, so discussion on closing the nominations. Any discussion?
That isn't why I wanted to discuss. I wanted to discuss the person being nominated.
But I think if you can, okay. I mean, yeah, go ahead. Okay, so call the vote. All in favor?
Wait a minute.
Wait. No, I mean, this is just the motion for the nominations, to close nominations.
You can still accept additional nominations. We haven't officially closed the nominations. If there's another nomination, it can be presented.
Yeah. Are we right?
You going to nominate, well, there's a motion on the floor.
I mean, I think if,
There's a motion on the floor.
Or you can vote it down.
that's what I'm thinking. So, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I'm going to say me because obviously there's discussions.
I'll say no to closing the nominations.
Okay, so motion passes to close the nominations. So the vote now goes to the one nomination we have, correct? We discuss, do you want to, is there discussion on that?
I have questions, yes.
Okay. We can listen to those questions.
This first one I have is directed at Ruth as the state's attorney. The litigation that is hanging for the chairperson of this board, does that litigation follow whoever takes the chair's position?
It's a difficult question because it's a yes and a no answer.
Okay.
The lawsuit was brought against Mr. Orman in his official capacity as chairman. So while it would fall to the chairman, the new chairman, you can't hold the new chairman to acts that were committed by the prior chairman. So in the broader scheme of things, the chairman and the board, as I see it, the chairman needs to be someone who voted in the majority of the resolution to properly effectuate the ongoing litigation.
I agree with that somebody who voted in favor of what happened should be the chairperson, but I didn't know if the litigation actually follows the chairperson, or does the litigation stay with Mr. Orman even though he's not on the
It does
board?
not stay with Mr. Orman, however, the plaintiff has the option of basically dismissing Mr. Orman as he's no longer the chairman. The acts were still ratified by the board, by the majority of the board, I should say. Does that make sense?
Did that answer that question, too?
Not really, but, okay.
Do you need,
When we go to court again,
Yes.
will the chairperson or the board represent the board in the litigation?
So right now, there are still 3 parties, 3 defendants in the litigation. It's up to the plaintiff whether or not they dismiss one of those out. That would be Mr. Orman as chairman in his official capacity. However, the board, who is another named defendant, based upon their ratification of Mr. Orman's acts, the majority of the board, they ratified, they approved what he did as chairman. They gave him the authority to do that. So the board is still on the hook for Mr. Orman's acts. So they are one and the same, essentially.
And none of this actually has happened yet until we go back to court again?
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
any other questions? No further discussion? Okay, then call the vote. All in favor, Sunny Ross?
Roll call, please.
Okay, as the new chair?
Teresa Bay,
No.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Carol Cole,
No.
Julie Edwards,
Yes.
Martha Fernhaber,
Yes.
Clay Hardy,
Yes.
Doug Keenan,
Yes.
Tad Mayhall,
Nope.
Heath McCormick,
Yes.
Tim Morse,
No.
Lori Nelson,
Yes.
Chrissy Otis,
Yes.
Sonny Ross,
Yes.
Mitchell Sheff,
Yes.
Don Tate,
Yes.
Brett Wallace,
Yes.
Jeremy Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 13 ayes, 4 nays. Bain, Cole, Mayhall, and Morse.
So did we switch spots?
Well, you're the chairman for the meeting.
Oh. So we did 9 and 10. Oh, so 11, accept nominations for Shelby County Board Vice Chair.
Nominate Julie Edwards.
Point of order.
Oh, sorry. What did we miss?
It's number 10, elect and seat county board chair. Is that not taking place?
Why does Mr. Ross not assume the chair at this time?
Oh, it says and seat,
Doesn't, okay.
not accept ballot.
Item number 11, accept nominations for Shelby County Board Vice Chair. Don?
I have a question about this procedure, and I may be wrong, but I don't understand why we have to have a motion and a second to nominate someone. I would think we should just be able to say, I nominate Sonny, or I nominate Jeremy, or whatever, and then you vote to close the nominations. What, is that the way you'd
That's correct,
understand
yes.
it?
Yes.
So there doesn't need to be a second, just a nomination and that's it.
That's what I understand that the state's attorney just said, yes.
Okay. Mark?
I'd like to nominate Julie Edwards for vice chair, please.
I'll second.
Don't need one.
Any other nominations for Vice Chair?
Motion to close nominations.
Mr. Williams makes a motion to close nominations. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Tate seconds it. Any discussion on closing nominations? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Number 13, vote to elect county board chair from those nominated during agenda item 11. All those in favor say aye.
Roll call, please.
Roll call vote. Any questions?
Vice Chair.
Teresa Bank,
No.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Carol Cole,
No.
Julie Edwards,
Yes.
Martha Fernhaver,
Yes.
Clay Hardy,
Yes.
Doug Keenan,
Yes.
Tad Mayhall,
Yes.
Keith McCormick,
Yes.
Tim Morse,
Yes.
Lori Nelson,
Yes.
Christie Otis,
Yes.
Sonny Ross,
Yes.
Mitchell Chef,
Yes.
Don Tate,
Yes.
Brett Wallace,
Yes.
Jeremy Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 15 ayes, 2 nays, Bay Nicole.
Item 14, chairman appointment, appoint member of board to the budget committee. The board was notified via email this week that Ms. Martin has resigned. She actually resigned several months ago, so there's at least one open seat. The chair and vice chair are automatically appointed to the budget committee, so there is one open seat on the budget committee. I would like to appoint Ms. Cole to that budget committee.
Can you list the current members,
I'll second that.
or do you know?
I don't,
It doesn't matter. Never mind.
Mr. Morris is on there.
Tim Morse, Clark Amling, Martha, you, Julie,
Chairman,
Jeremy. Yeah,
Okay.
that's seven.
and then Carol.
I think Carol said it, yeah. Okay. Discussion and vote to enter closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C11 pending litigation.
Point of order, our rules state we're supposed to vote on appointments.
On chairman appointments?
Yes.
Okay. If we have to vote, then I need a second for Ms. Cole.
I'll second the motion to appoint. You make a motion. to
Tad
appoint
makes a
her.
second. Tad seconds. All those in favor of Ms. Cole being appointed to the budget committee, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
You're required to roll call.
Excuse me?
Roll call.
She went to
Roll call.
executive session.
We're not going into executive session. So, Ms.,
Were there any names?
there were no names that I heard of. Okay. Okay, item 15, discussion and vote to enter closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120 pending litigation. I entertain a motion for this. Mr. McCormick makes a motion, Ms. Fernhaver seconds it. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Teresa Bank,
Yes.
Tim Brown,
No.
Carol Cole,
Yes.
Julie Edwards,
No.
Martha Fernhaver,
Yes.
Clay Hardy,
Yes.
Doug Keenan,
Yes.
Tad Mayhall,
No.
Keith McCormick,
Yes.
Tim Morse,
Yes.
Lori Nelson,
Yes.
Christie Otis,
Yes.
Sonny Ross,
Yes.
Mitchell Chef,
Yes.
Don Tate,
Yes.
Brett Wallace,
No.
Jeremy Williams.
No.
Okay, motion passes 12 ayes, 5 noes.
We will adjourn to the courtroom B for our normal procedure.
Wrap it up in there.
He did. When he started out, he just ran like crazy. That's what I said. He ain't gonna make it. Come in.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was talking to him, I said, well, sometimes I walk. So I don't know, he just really liked it. And evidently got good lungs. If he does that, he don't go against the wind. It's sweaty.
You don't bring it.
No.
Since the one's pressed and others. So man, he can really run.
Yeah.
He's got several years ahead of him yet.
Anything that, of course, I don't know all about it. Shows one keeps all the statistics of our fighting and whatever. So, I don't know if it'll last or not, but he's doing well right now.
He's doing good.
He does get nervous. Don't want to lay anybody down.
You're not the only person who can let them down, so.
Down here, they had,
After a while, it was
last
week, he felt that.
they had,
He was like, when you left out.
invite out. And he comes in second, but then if he started kicking a little bit earlier, I think he'd come in third. Of course, that's fifth, seventh, eighth.
She's walking. Oh, I see.
You mean on the radio?
Yeah, on the razor,
Yeah.
start them off.
They have a bib with their number on it, and it's actually got some. First line.
Well, I mean, with the nose and lining up to.
Oh, no, but no, you wouldn't have any idea. Other than size. You know, all the boys on that team. They call themselves the minions.
Maybe I have to change it to mighty. I guess Katie's friend stayed last
How did she do? I didn't miss it.
Well, she came in, 60 million.
My dad's
She
got
never
her.
Oh,
She was
really?
running with
She's been
John
having
Hopkins.
trouble with you.
Yes, she was running on a bad ankle, but her ankle's bad.
Okay, good.
She usually does a bit better. She was about 30 seconds behind her best.
Yes.
Oh, I said, oh my gosh, I had bronchitis, I'd be home and jet feeling sorry for myself, okay, because I'm thinking about running cross country stage.
That's a little disappointing. He didn't get his PR. His first one, yeah. When he ran this Darren and I and Cooper was with three of us, and then went on up to Bloomington. Watched Kim race.
Oh, feels like this is funny.
And they're like, they just have a good year.
Big Show's country. Well, I didn't realize your name was Brad.
Right. Yeah, Brad and Karen was on the other side. Track from us. And we called back and told us where it wasn't.
Yes.
Done there. He likes baseball, but there again, he's real fast.
Yeah.
Does he play on any travel teams or anything?
He did his fast. He didn't play Little League. I said that. When he started there, he played Little League too. Because this travel team kind of hurt the Little League.
Sure does.
It hurts, it's hurt a lot. It really has.
I hate to see that.
I know.
Used to have a lot more numbers out there.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, more members for competition.
Right. Good. Little League. You know, he started.
We have,
Or not high school.
She says,
A lot of people think, yeah, a lot of people think I'm
they grow up too fast, can't keep track of it.
More than likely. Oh, yes, right, you're right. Yeah, those
Oh, but,
And they live right next door to each other.
okay, yeah.
No, I take it back, there's a house in between.
I didn't realize they lived out there. I was taking little stairs up one drive because he was friends with college. Well,
No, but he's really a basketball player. And his dad's
oh, yeah. No, just quit.
So typically this morning, you guys got here at 7. When was that?
They didn't come.
Maybe they were doing the first 3 hours, you could just see them.
I think they're turning women to the road.
Maybe that's why.
And it did go, I didn't know. But I made a spot well. I didn't know how she would do it. I know Brad said she gets to have one swing, she's not like a plate, so it's up there.
Jail watched that text and said that was very
Good. Glad you're paying attention.
Should be going to the gym, because that is my last one on the third flight.
Yep. Wait until you get old, she'll start spending that.
Well, she does. She does. I think she said, yeah, that's what he comes through. What's he do? He's fine.
Well, there is. It takes big equipment. That's an alcohol, all right. Just a guess.
Yeah, she said she's been working at 7 o'clock every night.
Weekends.
I don't think that's the base of that, I think that's just where they designed it, or maybe the windows go down somewhere there.
Well, this last year's longer, so that's the base right there.
Probably right the other day.
Susan, I changed ours out in our house this year.
It's actually.
All what we hadn't done is during remodel from one time.
They went there and I was there.
I still got different pair of windows.
Yeah.
At least in the house because of the. Usually you're. Understand that.
Whose house you working on anyway? Was that Jack out? You doing replacing the crop road?
Him and Susie. Yeah. By myself. Susie.
We did Neil this day, the Costas used to live.
Oh, is that who lives
We
there?
did it in spring.
Yeah, you guys. But it's like about that.
Neither one of them is very good shape. I think Jack is still working.
I mean, it's insane.
What's wrong with Neil?
But those little cars.
You said Neil's not doing it?
No, I mean, Ford.
Oh,
As far as I know, they're fine. They have a new baby, might not be some of this.
Yeah, we talked to him the other day. Well, Susan did, I just,
You listened?
yeah, I
He tried.
forgot. Kind of hard. So many years of working in it under a noisy environment, it kind of,
Right.
this place happened with parents. You know, that was true too.
I got certain tones I can't do.
Is one Susie?
No, it's a turn signal.
Oh, turn signal, you can't hear that?
No.
Well, there's a few things that I can't hear too. I can't hear small little beeps, I can't hear like a microwave or a deep color. I can't hear those. Well, no, she makes sure I hear that.
After I repeated the third time, I yelled, and he says, don't yell at me, and I said, you don't have to yell at me, just say it. Well, I guess I do.
Get some tennis balls and carry them in a pile.
And every time I just play them, she throws it.
Drill.
As far as I know, that's not the only thing. I'm like you, there's some of that stuff I don't really want to.
Oh, if I take my hearing aids off, I can't hardly hear at all. So,
In here,
oh, it's hard in here.
Jeremy's always hard to hear.
Yeah, and there's a couple, Bobby Orman, really.
Yeah,
I couldn't understand.
like he had gum or something.
Yeah, and it's my ear, it's in my ears. I mean, I just couldn't understand. And I can't understand Brad when he talks. Yeah.
I don't talk really loud. I know a lot of people haven't.
Yeah.
Now me, I sound like I'm just really loud.
Yeah. So Brad and Bobby, and there's a couple others I could probably name off, but there's just something about the tone of their voice that I just can't really understand.
I think these guys, especially ones who want to talk all the time, they see where they're facing you. I think you hear better. Maybe part of it's reading lips, you know, and you have to realize it's.
So they,
Yeah.
Wearing masks, that was the first thing we did.
Right, yeah.
Which seemed, it's kind of.
Yes, that's right. I think we do, I don't really realize it.
what now?
That's my Sharon. You said it over here by yourself. Keep an eye on Sheriff.
No, he's got that.
True with any hearing aid, I think. You know,
Well, it can be. I can take my phone and adjust them all over the place.
Or Jimmy Ockenheim, he got some, and he said that, he thought it was,
Who did?
Jimmy Ockenheim,
I neither. I respect him. Wonderful.
I get an offer for hearing aids
All
through
the
the
time.
mail.
Yeah, I do too. Still. Even from the company that I bought from, they still get some in offers. Too late. They're not as expensive as what they used to be.
Yeah.
You know, if you buy them over there, you can buy them over the counter now. It's kind of knocked the price down a little bit.
So Jeremy's not getting to the bottom of the hatch
Just another part of Daisy.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Where the old ones stand.
Yeah, or that generation.
My mother was deaf for many years. Her inner ear fused, the bone was infused together.
Oh, really?
Down, she couldn't hardly hear. And then she had an operation to put metal in for her, here's the bone for her in her ear. And boy, I tell you what, you can tell a big difference in her.
Really?
Oh. It gets from the inner ear of the cochlea, which is what transmits the sound. It was opaque, was all they did, it was this tiny little like the stirrup, and those were what were fused, and they replaced those. It was really good.
Well, that's good, it worked for her.
Yeah, that was over 40 years ago, so. More than that, it's been 50 years ago.
Are you guys gonna make it down there on Wednesday?
So it's not new technology.
I'd say, I was surprised that today.
It was there today.
And
Wire,
then
too.
he's talking Mandel over time too.
Yeah, where you're shot by the camera.
Yeah. And he always told me, if I ever need anything,
Pete said, I'll see you tonight. I
he
said,
gave me a cell phone. I got it. Well, I called today, figuring I was gonna get a
you
report.
guys were efficient.
Well, it was an actual person, so I started explaining what I needed.
Didn't get to hang
And as
out.
he talked, I realized it was him.
I didn't go back.
And then pretty soon he said, this is Dr. Mandel. And I said, well, I did realize that after a while. I said, I didn't think it was the first time.
Yesterday.
So we took care of what I wanted. But I was really shocked to do that. Yeah. You know, I figured, well, it'll be recording, give you that. You know, I understand that.
Yeah. I know you took care of Mom and when we went home yesterday.
Yeah.
Dislocated. And I really liked him. He had his cell phone number.
He's just standing there. We need to know.
Well, Derek was over last week about his knee, and he gave him an injection for the same thing.
Yeah, he's just standing there.
He's just standing there.
He's still.
That's Pete. Oh, I got his story.
Oh, my house.
Now you.
Okay.
Well, at least when I bet you, check in, see if I should be there.
But it's a good night, it's that 14 minutes.
He did that. Mom broke that fingers on him.
Still get one for about another hour. You can leave, I'll tell you.
Sure, sure. The same Moultrie County Sheriff used to text him and say, he's like, and he says, stop doing it. I'm so sorry.
We'd like to make an appointment, well, they'd always wait at 7 o'clock. I said, well, first thing I'm going to 6:30 then. She said, no, it's make it 7. She said, well, he starts early.
Chris Baker
I know.
told me last week, he thinks it's going to be
Haley was in Sloan over there for a while and she would over.
Oh, that's on Sunday, I guess.
The nurses pulled her aside and said, you don't want to go in there. He is really, I guess, really rough on his nerves.
Really? Y'all seem nice.
Yeah, I said, when she told me that, I said, it really surprises me because he has such a good bedside manner.
Oh, yeah.
50 years.
Nothing safe like it used to be.
So I guess he expects a lot out of his nurses.
He runs a tight ship.
Yeah, it really surprised me when she told me.
Because they just fixed our freezer.
I got that.
And all, I'm all.
Didn't get that impression of him at all.
No.
Well, I do have to say, the only thing I've replaced in 15 years with this is the washer and dryer. And now.
Well, everybody knows. Then,
It was just that one part that caused all this, and they're like, it's
as long as
you're right.
as long as you get done what you're supposed to, then it's okay.
It doesn't matter. And she would have told me that about the doctor that I had that did my hips, it would not have surprised me.
You believe that?
I loved him to pieces, but he didn't sugarcoat anything. Just come right out and put it back in. Pulled it out, but
Don't get out, I'm going this way.
Oh, her phone's in it.
I need your stuff hanging together so far, but.
He's a bicycle rider.
I think keeps
I'm not
moving.
gonna do that.
Bicycle riding keeps it moving.
Yeah.
ride that bicycle all the time.
Does that bicycle you guys have out in front of your house now, just fly down?
Yes. We didn't have
Lights on it.
lights on, put up full spots.
Okay.
Did you take any big trips this summer?
Yeah, one trip, Yeah, we got to Washington, we're in weather. But other than we got married in the Olympic National Park.
Which one was that?
Is that your Siri? Is that Siri?
Siri, what the heck is your ear?
Which
Let's know which room I'm trying to turn the lights off in. I'm turning the lights off.
One chance at it, if you don't pass, you gotta leave the gas on. Right, yeah.
I went to the horse races for the first time, the Kentucky or Lexington.
For me, the guy beside me that just blew his
Oh my goodness, that was a lot.
We're supposed to. You like it?
Yeah, I did.
Did you run down bad? Give
I
that
did
one?
that. I won $100 on one.
Lucky.
But I lost 60, so.
I didn't get to go to the horse races, and she went down with her sister, their family was going down there, and I came down Sunday, and then worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Joined her, and then we went to French Lick, Indiana, and she won $100 again. And I lost again.
Just stop on the way back.
I was trying to give her blackjack lessons, and I was losing money, and she was winning.
Cards were coming right for a while.
Sometimes you gotta be in the right chair.
So she's sort of, and he's got a cage, you know, right.
And then when someone gets like, their hand goes bad, it's like, hey, get back in here.
Yeah, if somebody says,
Yeah.
Yeah.
some deal that comes in and burns all over.
Yeah. I did not think about horse racing, and so they have what they call a vetologist in horse go to the track, so someone will coach you
Oh, really?
on how to place bets and.
Never happen again.
Because you're not set a kid or that number jockey, and not the horse so much, but because they have the jockey records in the back of the program or the book you get, and the jockeys who win the most, people, they can be more selective with the horse, so they do the research on what horse they want to ride, because they pretty much get their choice.
Right, you want to ride a winner for
Pretty much, that makes sense.
Yeah, so we got to, so I did a trifecta box on all of them.
every bet.
Every bet, yeah, I did a trifecta box. So you can get your top three in any order.
Place.
Yeah.
Win, place, and show in any order.
Yeah, in any order. So I had
You got
one.
2 out of 3.
Well, I had one that was a winner, but I got all 3 horses. But the rest of them, I got 1 or 2, which it's not a winner for me, but I mean, 1 or 2 of the jockeys that we had on.
I believe you can, just but if it's your case, you might go make a case with that.
But it was fun. It was, all the people there.
But it's really a discretion.
The discretion is a violation.
Rob Warren, Madison County.
Yeah.
Churchill Downs. I was pretty scientific about it. I picked up
Before we violate.
silk colors I wanted to bet on.
Did it work?
Never been horse racing, but it's dogs, right?
No,
Trying to change the.
we did that once down in Florida. I really didn't care about it.
Because
No, that ain't right.
it's over. Then I was, the races that day. They're over in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But it takes them 30 minutes to get a track ready for the next race. So, I mean, it's an all-day event there. Yeah, I wonder about that. And then every race was a different distance.
I have a dog that he's left alone. He's being babysat tonight.
Somewhere just somewhere on the turf.
Yeah, but he's just young and he's still fairly new to me. He's getting used to it.
Yeah.
First of June. Under a year.
Well, the start line and the finish line are in the same place.
Right.
Right, but I mean, start line, which makes sense, because if you have start and finish together, you got the gates there, I mean.
Yeah,
it's
when they
like-
howl, that's pretty funny.
Then that way they go by the traffic light.
Bob, he came with the name I got from Christian County. Bob Barker.
Pretty funny.
Yeah,
On the, like the, like
he
the
knew what I was getting into.
And then
He's a tricolor, I mean, just really. I'm gonna make it look pictures. You show me yours.
That's supposed to be the last year. Steve and Cheryl, and that's when Cedar didn't want to go to Telegraph. We did. I mean, it's saying,
You don't know what.
I guess because I like Telegraph, because I like
See the
it.
face.
I'm not smart enough to run my phone, apparently. We don't make people's license plates.
Well, you know, depends on where they're hanging out.
But they can't run.
Yeah.
He's a fatty. Oh, he's cute.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, those are cute. They really are.
They are. And
Oh.
he,
Didn't expect.
I like to drive through the cemetery right about sunset.
I had a little rat in there one
There
time.
used to be a
I think it runs so
dog that I
fast
see
when you
deer.
start chasing the car.
But he used to get some enormous speed. I haven't seen him this year, so I have somebody gone.
Open the door and, oh, yeah.
But, driving through the whole thing and I had the window.
Oh, yeah.
There was some
Nothing
deer.
flat.
But the funny thing was, he walked as close as us in the chairs to the deer before he took off. And I was kind of, he was going real slow. He wasn't stalking him.
Yeah.
And he took off down the side, and I started trying to
No, I
catch
didn't
him.
follow him.
And he just, they
That's because they will run.
He comes around the main street.
Now, he gets really anxious when
Turn west.
Gonna go and address you.
I called the vet and they said,
Walk,
well, we can
back
give him
on
a
the
call.
roadway, head back.
And I said, okay, so it's like 6 months for 60 days. Not bad. And I went through CVS to pick up work.
He just stopped and called the dog, the dog went running down the
You
street.
take 4 one day, you'll feel better.
The dog back.
So he's on Prozac and I thought, and it's not working.
The other day, this lady had
So then I called him back
the
and
goat.
they suggested
Or out of
a pheromone collar that smells like a dog. And they were, so I
Took off with him.
Amazon had $20.
Brand.
Yeah, so it was approved on him. It was not an unpleasant smell. But he's still anxious. And my daughter, well, yeah, my daughter
About this goat running.
Jack Russell.
And they end up giving the goat an award.
Just needs a friend. So, anyway, they say they have, vets, they said they have thunder shirts in all sizes, they don't sell them. But they said we could fit one on it and see if that doesn't make a difference.
I don't, he just, usually, we just leave the couches, he was still at home.
Bob was so he's with my daughter right now. She says, I'm not Jennifer anymore, I'm Nanny. I'm Nanny.
She likes them,
Yeah, good things to like. And then my son keeps him. He's got a dog too, and a fenced-in yard, so. But, yeah, I spend more time arranging babysitters for Bob Parker.
Yeah, now, right?
Is Kurt moving back? Kurt gonna move back?
Well, eventually probably.
No, it's not single bed.
And,
He's pretty.
yeah, he's.
The plan right now
They
is put a big
said
shed
it was
out
trying to
there
get
where
him
they
DNA
bought.
tested, because they.
Put an apartment in there so later on.
He wasn't sure.
Where's that?
He's got waivers.
Well, you know where Sarah and
They kept him.
John Miller live
6
down by the
weeks.
river? It's down there.
Put him in the papers about, Nobody claimed it. My dog.
I think it's Miller Haycraft. Miller Craft
Her
or
died. He was 11.
Hay Miller.
Not Bill
He'd been gone about 2 weeks. I was missing it. you know, and I
Lived down
looked
there
at Facebook,
forever.
Saw pictures of some puppies,
That's
Christian,
what he
I
named
never looked at theirs, I don't know, look, and there was a beagle, and I had beagles growing up.
Yeah, that'd be nice. for
So I
him.
called him
Yeah,
and
Becky
said,
said, you
"Can
know,
you
if
tell
they
me
have a
about the
shed that we
beagle?"
can all
Oh, he's
get
just the
together
nicest
and
dog.
put it on
And
our
it's hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Told me the
So-
story.
That'd be a
about
nice-
how they
nice
found
spot
it
down
and
there.
been trying,
Yeah.
couldn't find him.
And
So we
then
just came
eventually,
here
when they
2 days
retire,
ago,
they'll be
because,
back and
you know, we want to place it.
build a house and everything.
And I said, okay, well.
Jake,
Yeah, he just kind of hopes to retire by the time he's 55. I don't know if he's gonna make it or not.
I better think about that.
And she says, oh, it's a funny
Unless
thing,
he's
you
got something
know,
else.
he's really popular, so he's
Oh, you
sponsored.
probably go work at Ace.
There's no charge for
I'd be all right.
it. And I said,
As
oh,
long
that's
as
good.
it
Not
is.
bad.
And if I wanted to see.
I
Jake
think that was the
Collins
first
is
day
back
without
And she
food, and he
said,
had
no,
to
we're
go
here
out
till
to
6,
job
why don't you
days.
come on over? It was 3.
Well, Bill Gates says that's the best job he's ever had.
And I said, I was in there another 10 minutes.
Yeah, you know, they say Mike's.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, yeah, I can't say no.
Paul was, you
Yeah.
know.
They are good size.
Good working out there.
Mine's got fat, but my husband feeds him every time he takes
Well,
5 years.
Bob's not skinny.
So my husband's gonna come to a
And
point where he's
I had
gonna
a knee
drive home
replaced
every
this
weekend,
summer, and
just
he
looking
can
at work.
pull, actually, no pull harnesses, because when he's low to the ground, he's got leverage.
Yeah, once they get their nose on something.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
So.
You know, it's always good to have a plan, whether it always works out or when it
Yeah.
works or not. It's
Oh, yeah.
a different story.
That's
And before you
for
know it, I'll
sure.
spend hundreds on him.
Yeah.
They don't always work out.
It is, but I
You
can't,
know, UPS is kind of struggling right now.
Are they?
Yeah,
because it lasted 2 weeks.
a little bit. But 2 is it, I mean.
Would you carry it? He lost her dog.
Well,
We were talking.
Postal
about
Service is doing all that.
story.
They're running on Sundays, Saturdays and Sundays too.
I have to get my own dog, they were all my kids. They were all over at home, I'm taking care of all.
You know, they had the union contract last year. That kind of.
That's my older son lives in St. Louis, and I'll tell him, Bob, do this or Bob, do that. He says, oh, you gotta stop comparing Bob, you know, year-old Bob to 11-year-old Cody. Because Cody was crazy when he was young too.
Yeah, that's your husband.
You remember those yellow and red trucks used to be running around and they don't.
There's
they
the,
go
what's
under
this
the-
dog?
Yes, no, they didn't go under.
They don't operate
They
around.
moved around here.
Pardon me.
I think they're still in the bigger cities.
Yeah,
It's
one-
DHL. That's a
You'd shoot on one of
German.
those.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I heard they were concentrating on other countries and not the United
That's
States.
good.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
Because I think that's
Yeah,
what's
it's
his
Amazon used in there for a while.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it
Most
comes
of
out of
my
different ways, and I
packages,
I'll just,
They don't even, you know, rent in our area.
and yeah, that's how he's listed at the
They
vet.
don't have packages in Washington,
I said triple B.
Dylan and McKenna,
I brought him back,
but just south of us there.
Jeff
and that-
Johnson, who's the mayor here.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, and
He said, you know, don't be bringing it.
I walked back to the dog,
He's one of
let the
those.
dog out, walked back to the barn,
We
got a
stopped.
bench there, I was sitting down there, and I bench, I looked at the end of
City
the
license.
concrete on the barn, or the package down there. So I walked down there and looked at it, well, it was just for her. So I took it over and knocked on the door, and I almost left it outside, but I don't know
Well,
why
the
they
Shelby County
left it
tags
in
are
the barn.
red, and Christian County ones are.
They don't get it right all the time.
No,
Mine is green.
Yeah, the last 4 or 5 packages that UPS delivered for us.
Oh, maybe they come in certain colors, and just
Yeah.
doesn't know.
FedEx. No, it was UPS. They delivered it to the wrong house.
So the
It's
next door.
next door.
yeah,
Yeah, I know they did one because I called them and asked me
We
about
got
it.
it chipped.
we have trouble with that with
It's
the
been
main,
off last summer.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
different carriers.
we have huge problems.
yeah, that was the good.
We're on the corner,
They didn't let him out of there.
and 611, our house is
Good
611,
faces.
and then, Pruitt's house is 611, the other street.
Well, I bet you
We
do.
get Pruitt's mail all the time, because she come walking in our street, and she goes, 611, these are all, and puts them all in her box, so I had to go out there, get all the Pruitt's mail, and take it over to them. Yeah, everybody does that, we get all the Pruitt's mail.
Maybe we'll.
Well, we're on what they call the short.
Well, and
That's where
Cody,
they
my lab,
put all
we
the
opened
news,
the dog park,
syrup, and say they put
and
them
said
on the
we
short.
would like to come be the
So
first
we
dog
got
park.
something all the time.
And I took him up there and he
But we
was.
don't get that much mail
trying to
anymore
get
since.
Mark out.
Mail's really gotten unreliable for us, we use the business a lot, all sorts of mail. We'll have to
That's
get
a
lost
good
for
thing to
2
do.
weeks, you know, you take, and sometimes
So I need
you
to
get
get that
lost
number
forever,
for
but
us. I think we need to hold up.
all
there.
over there, did you mail your
That's a good way to go.
sometimes a week later.
Bob likes, a lot of times I'll go to the parking lot before you go down to
Or
it.
Susie,
And, you know, we
well,
walk
here,
to Tom.
she wants to
And then
go
down
to
to the
the
lake.
international,
He likes that.
and they will go. But if you don't, it goes to St. Louis, I think, and then running around coming back. Just-
Okay. Springfield, they were gonna eliminate the Springfield office, they were going to go to St. Louis.
It's not.
They don't do that.
But don't
back up to that.
But yeah, it was supposed to.
Still spring.
So hopefully we'll have a trade house and windows
With
tomorrow.
the children.
Correct, it's starting.
Well,
First, they
It doesn't sound right for long distance, that's for sure.
but then.
This doesn't make sense.
They think it'll go much faster.
On
We'll see.
the other side, I'm sometimes amazed, Amazon.
Exactly, yes, right, yeah.
Yeah, but Tom told me I was supposed to do it tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. We need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
We're always,
Well, I was
especially
just.
down in Florida.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yes,
A couple big places you can go
Be good to get
to.
it done. wouldn't
I
it?
know, it will
Fort
be.
Myers,
So some
which is a half hour
needed to be
drive.
done for a long time.
exactly.
And thank you for taking it and running
And
it.
over it might take an hour and 15 minutes. And then you go there and you have, or they don't have it. Anyway, you go back up and get it. Sorry.
We don't know who goes on those. They're designed to be the seats. What's the one
Put your lady all over the world.
We're gonna technically wrap it up with both options.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody else can say, if somebody needs to take my test, it's not, I'm sitting up here by myself, like I'm in front of the class.
I'd entertain a,
Sorry. Okay.
I would entertain a motion to return to open session. Mr. Tate, Mr. McCormick seconds it. Roll call, please.
Teresa Bain,
Yes.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Carol Cole. Julie Edwards.
Yes.
Martha Bernhaber.
Yes.
Clay Hardy.
Yes.
Doug Keenan.
Yes.
Ted Mayhall.
Yes.
Keith McCormick.
Yes.
Tim Morris.
Yes.
Lori Nelson.
Yes.
Chris Otis,
Yes.
Sonny Ross,
Yes.
Mitchell Shep,
Yes.
Don Tate,
Yes.
Brett Wallace,
Yes.
Jeremy Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Who seconded it? Don made the motion.
Don made the motion.
And he seconded it.
Yeah.
Mr. McCormick seconded.
Yes. Mr. Conklin. Okay. After a careful review of the board rules, I've already made my first mistake. Welcome to life. According to our board rules, in fact, the vice chair is not automatically on the budget committee. So I am going to revisit item 14. I would like to appoint Julie Edwards to the budget committee.
You need a second?
Martha seconds it.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Can you do that if it's not on the agenda?
I think you have a motion to reconsider. Something along those lines. I don't think you can revisit an item without a motion to reconsider.
We never voted to put her in, though. There's nothing to reconsider.
Right, but you closed out that item.
I'll make the motion to reconsider item number 14.
Martha makes a motion to reconsider item 14.
Second.
Jeremy seconds. All those in favor of reopening item 14? Say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, item 14 is back on the floor. I'll make a motion to appoint Julie Edwards to the budget committee.
Second?
Martha will second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. I would also like to remove Jeremy Williams from the budget committee and appoint Tad Mayhall to the budget committee. Need a second? Carol will second it.
Can we do that? It's not on the agenda. To remove.
Neither was Julie.
Neither
The
was Julie.
item is open on the floor. Any discussion?
I just want to say that I mentioned this to you, so I don't want anybody to think this is some kind of underhanded or whatever, so.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
I'm opposed.
Mr. Brown is opposed. Motion carried. So that will make the budget committee Sonny Ross, Julie Edwards, Tad Mayhall, Harold Cole, Tim Morse, Clark Hamlin, Carol, I said Carol, and Martha Furnish.
Martha.
Okay. Item 16, public body comment. There's nothing on my sheet, so public body comment. You were so good at running that, I'll let you do it.
I never had it all.
Martha.
I'd just like to make a comment. It was stated earlier that an attack on a person is an attack on their family. And I personally find it quite rich that somebody that has spent a significant amount of time attacking many people on this board, other elected officials, would make such a statement. So it's just rich. I'll leave it at that.
Public body comment. Ms. Wade.
Okay, so the board is in order, right? Are we set for budgets? Are we set for audits? What's the process next? What happens next?
As far as
Audits and
audits,
budgets.
we're going to have to secure a new auditor for FY23
Has
and
any-
FY24.
You said you have one phone number. Has anybody else been looking?
Yes.
Okay,
I think you had 2 or 3, right?
so
I have one card.
It would have to go to bed, would it not? would have to go to bid, would it not?
Likely, but we've got to find somebody that's willing.
And that's my question. What have we done as a board, as county, to get a new auditor? We know that the other has resigned. And the budget, what are we doing now? We've prepared our budgets as department head, so I want to know what the process is now for the board.
The budget committee is going to have to meet enough times that they pass a budget to come to the county board at the November meeting.
Is that enough time?
Gonna have to.
So is there any way to call us, now that we have a chair, vice chair, we can call a special emergency budget meeting? Because in September, when I was here, I was told I would be contacted about the budgets. The only email I have was from you following up on the auditor. I have nothing for the budget or the audit. I don't know where the grants stand, and I wanted to see this board work together and get this done immediately. So I'm asking what the process is, who's going to take care of it, and when it's going to happen.
I'm going to have to take care of it. The
So
budget
just-
committee is going to have to get together, and we're going to have to work on it. Go ahead, Ms. Evans.
To put this out in the air, we have to have a budget meeting before November 5th, because it has to be to Jessica to put on the agenda by the 5th, correct?
The November meeting's the 14th.
The elections.
Oh,
The election's
gotcha.
the 5th.
No, we're not doing anything on the 5th, sorry. Okay, so we're doing it on, board meetings on the 14th, so then it'd have to be to you by the 12th. Okay,
For the posting.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and it has to wait for, if the board approves, I'm thinking out loud here, but if the board approves a preliminary budget, it has to wait for 15 days before they can act on it, at least 15 days.
We need to have something.
So there is not a preliminary, a draft budget of any kind.
Well, I mean, there's what I sent.
What the department heads have done, but the committee has not met.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you.
Which is one of the reasons why I wanted to ensure that when we left here, the budget committee is full, so that we have 4 members. Everybody's schedules are busy. We need to get members, we need to get this budget done.
And that's why I'm asking, because I want to understand the process when I walk away. As I said, it was September, and I have not heard anything. You're the only one who spoke to me about it, and I appreciate it. But I want to know when it's going to be done. So we walk into December with budgets, operating budgets for our departments. We've done the work. We gave you what we were asked to give. So that's what I want to know. When specifically is someone going to call the meeting? Like, how does that process work? Because I don't know.
Carol?
Jessica, do you have all the budgets from the department heads?
I believe so. I believe they've all been submitted now.
Okay, so what the budget committee needs to do is get together and get all those that you have.
I sent those out once.
We have a whole new committee, could you send it to the board?
Yeah, I can,
Okay.
yeah. And some things have changed. Some people submitted changed things, but yeah, I'll send it again.
So is what you sent to the now seated budget committee going to be the most current, right?
What I sent.
Okay. And then my other question is the 15 days that this has to be out for public view, is that 15 calendar days or 15 business days?
I read the statute today actually to a fellow office outside of the county, and it says 15, at least 15 days prior to it being acted on.
So calendar days. Okay, thank you.
And then the audit, again, just because that was.
We're going to have to work on it sooner than later.
It's going to have to go to bed, I
I
think.
think she's referring to 23.
I know what she's referring to. All I can tell you is I'm going to make a phone call tomorrow,
Thank you.
and I'm going to make another phone call the day after that, and another phone call the day after that, until I can secure someone.
You're right.
Maybe Mr. Mayhall can secure someone. We can at least get someone interested in bidding this out, so that if we need to call a special meeting, we may have to call some special board meetings. November might be quite fun.
Okay.
But we've got to get some things done that have been delinquent far too long, and I'm going to promise you that I'm going to do what I can to get them accomplished.
Thank you. I appreciate it because we're all in the grants
I
I don't know what's
understand.
going on with all the grants, but where we're sitting, go ahead, Martha, I'm sorry.
No, I want to say that this issue with not being able to find an auditor is not unique to Shelby County. There are significant issues with multiple counties across the state.
And you could be very well correct. I'm not taking that away from you. My issue is anybody calling? Anybody. You're all capable, I believe, of making those phone calls. I'm talking to everyone. I'm not trying to single out anybody. Everyone's capable of making those phone calls. I want to know who's doing it and when we're going to fix it is what I'm asking for all department heads. So I know you'll follow up with me in an email because you always do, and I appreciate it because nobody has since September.
Is that it?
I think so.
Mr. Brown?
I'd like to point out that the previous auditor dumped Shelby County. That's serious, and I think that's what we should be focusing on. Why did we get dumped?
4 in a row.
Really?
There's something wrong here. And get another auditor, well,
We don't have a choice now is my point.
yeah, but they're gonna dump us too. We've got a problem we need to
Doesn't mean it
fix.
doesn't have to be done.
We've got a problem.
I turned in my stuff.
I'm not attacking on you, but we've got a problem. An auditor dumped the county. Why?
You know why. As long as you follow up with me, I'm going to continue to come and just ask. I'm just asking for everyone. You can all make the phone calls. I don't think it's my responsibility. It's outside the scope of what I should
Well,
be doing.
the auditor we had dumped us.
But we're there.
I'm not sure I'm understanding who you want us to call, Heather. We don't have an auditor right now. And I apologize if I'm missing it, but who is it that you're asking us to call?
Other audit companies.
Yeah, it has to go out to public bid. That's how we get it out there. And if anybody on the board,
That's what I'm asking.
once it
so I
goes
don't
to bid, once it goes to bid, if anybody on the board knows auditing firms, they can certainly contact them and say, hey, Shelby County's put the audits out to bid. I think your firm should bid. But if I call auditor ABC XYZ and say, hey, Shelby County's looking for an auditor, great, where do I go apply or respond to a bid? And I say, well, we don't have one.
Is that how it works? Because I don't understand that.
It has to go to bid, is that not correct?
Professional service.
Well, what Ms. Wade's question is, I think has been answered, and we're going to work on it. I'm good for some open air conversation, but some of the back and forth needs to be tempered down. I promise you that we're going to work on it. I promise you that we're going to look into it, and I promise you I'm going to communicate with you.
Okay,
And I'll keep you abreast as best as I can.
thank you. And then will you please let me know about the grant because I haven't heard a follow-up. They won't respond to my email on the IDOT grant.
I'll find out what that concern is and do my best to address that as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Public body comment. Ms. Matlock.
I have heard, this evening, just a couple of questions. It seems pretty obvious, I'm just a taxpayer now, and it seems pretty obvious to me that we've been focusing on the wrong thing for a while. We've been focusing on not the audit, we've not been focusing on that. We were told in, I think, January that would be next week. Well, here we are almost November. So I don't know what the situation is, but Ms. Brown's right. That needs to be remedied. Whatever that is, needs to be done. No more kicking the can down the road, no more unanswered emails, no more unanswered public comments. When somebody's going to have to get on that, and it may have to be not the usual actors. Someone else is going to have to probably try to straighten some things out to get us an auditor, because we have to have it. There shouldn't be any department in this county that's worried about their budget. They shouldn't be worried about their grant dollars. That should be taken care of. It should have been taken care of years ago. Now, why we're still dinking around with an audit from a couple years ago is beyond me, but there's no excuse for it now. We're beyond excuses. So I think we've all kind of lost sight of what's important. We've kicked each other in the teeth a lot. There's been some back and forth this evening, Jeremy's situation. It's a bad deal. We need to quit doing that. We've got to get an audit done. That's a fact. We cannot piddle around anymore with it. And I don't care who does it. I don't care if it's Tim, if it's Martha, who it is, it has to be done. So it doesn't matter the back and forth, you're right, it doesn't matter anymore. But someone has got to figure out why the auditors are leaving and get us an auditor. And it's going to have to probably somebody calling in a favor, because this didn't work for us. This whole audit situation did not work. We spent a lot of money and didn't get crap. We still don't have a single audit as far as I know. And when our board members did not get all 4 drafts that we were, admittedly, they said there was 4. When our board members don't get all 4 drafts, that's a problem. And then I believe it was voted to accept draft number 4. Normally an auditor finishes an audit and submits it, and they go on to the next place. It's not a matter of, we got 4 drafts. If they need something from health department, sheriff, they have a number, they have a download system that they use, whatever they use, Dropbox, doesn't matter. It gets dropped in those documents, they finish the audit, and boom, it goes out. They're going somewhere else. This has gone on too long. We paid too much money for this. So this excuse, or this nonsense with the farm, it's enough. We don't have any money we don't have any numbers from our audit yet. We don't know where we're at. We don't know about grants for these different departments. There's no more excuses. Let's work on what's really important. I mean, that farm makes money every year. And here we are, let's sell it to whose benefit, I don't know, but we still don't have an audit from a couple years ago? We're way behind. There's no excuse anymore. That is not important. What's important to the taxpayer is to know that our money is being handled properly. And it appears, I mean, there must be some reason why they quit all the time. So it's got to be handled. With no more drama, handle what's in front of you. If Jessica says that budget has to sit for 15 days once it's done, by God, there ought to be somebody deciding tomorrow morning, first thing, they need to get a meeting going. ASAP. And if it takes all afternoon, it takes all afternoon. Get the meeting, get it done, and get that budget out so you meet your deadline. This back and forth crap, set the meeting date. They all need to be set. We need to get somebody new, somebody different, that's not constantly talking to the auditors, to talk to somebody else. If let's say Mr. Tate knows a guy that does audits, and he's not normally the guy that makes the phone calls. Maybe he needs to make a phone call and say, hey, we need an auditor. Our auditor quit. What do you got for me? Do you have any time to do our audit? We're in trouble. I mean, we've got to change it up a little bit to get somewhere, because right now we're floundering. So it's time. You got to prioritize a little bit.
Thank you. Julie?
Real quick, 2022 budget was accepted and is final. So that's where it's the audit, I'm sorry.
Is
2020.
the single audit done now?
I'm sorry?
The single audit is what the grant funds like on. We don't have a single audit, as I understand.
I thought
That's
2022 was resolved, but anyway, and one thing I want to say about calling friends, now I'm not 100% sure how this all works, but there's a fine line when it comes to bid rigging.
No, it's not bid rigging.
I know,
I'm
but
just
wait a
saying,
minute,
say, hey, you'll never
my
do
public comment.
Go for it.
When you're calling people up to say, hey, we need this done, can you do this? We just have to clarify that we're going to put the bid out, please, it's not a matter of calling someone up and say, hey, can you do this audit for us? Can you do this budget for us? Whatever. We have to be very specific about, we're going to put the bid out. If you're interested, please bid.
Right.
Okay. I'm done. I'm finished.
Public body comment. Mr. Chang.
Sonny, I was just going to mention the city of Shelbyville just earlier this month engaged Gilbert Metzger and Madigan LLP certified public accountants out of Charleston to do the city's audit. The city had used Mose, Yaki, Brown and Cool for many years, and that firm has changed, dissolved. I'm not sure exactly what the status is, but we had to pick another firm. So they seemed ready, willing, and able. So I just throw that name out there for you. Gilbert Metzger and Madigan.
I wrote it down, Sonny.
Thank you. Thank you. Public body comment. Mr. Cole, you spoke at the first public body comment.
Take it 5 minutes.
You're only allowed one time to
What do you
speak.
think for a 19 audit we didn't get?
Public body comment.
He can speak.
Isn't there 2 comment sections on it? There's 2 comment places on there. It doesn't specify.
It's not worth the fuss. Mr. Cole, go ahead.
According to our expenditure report, we paid the auditing firm, Benford and Brown, $5,000 for a dive team audit. They haven't done it yet. They said they're quitting. Do we get the $5,000 back or not?
They're completing that audit. They're completing that audit. They resigned from the 2023 audit.
I'll look into that, but it sounds like
Okay?
they're still working on it.
I don't think they've ever started yet.
Okay.
No, they haven't.
Is that all?
That's the dive team.
No, I meant, is that all you had to say?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, thank you.
thank you.
Tricia Miller?
Yes, you acknowledged when you were speaking that Mr. Allen was behind you, saying something to you, but you didn't hear him. Why is Mr. Allen in a court hearing speaking to you about our farm? What interest does he have in this farm? You acknowledged he was speaking to you. Acknowledged it. You may not have heard what he said, although it looked like you kind of nodded to him like you did hear what he said, but you may not have. So why so much vested interest in our farm? Why is he in a court hearing following you up to the clerk, to the judge? I don't understand that. Is he government, can you explain what he does? Is he government accountability? Is he a public advocate? Is he private citizen accountability? Can you explain to me his role?
That's not board business.
You can't explain the role?
Well, it's not county board business what Mr. Allen may or may not do in his private time, in his private capacity.
So whispering in your ear at a court hearing.
Ma'am, I would summarily say that is not accurate. He was not whispering in anybody's ear.
You said he spoke to you.
He was standing
and you did
behind
not hear
me.
him.
We all heard.
You said he spoke to you and you did not hear him while you were trying to talk to the clerk and the judge.
I had a lot of people talk to me that day, and I didn't hear all of
But
it.
he went up to speak to you while you were talking to the clerk and the judge.
I cannot prevent what he did. I had nothing to do with what he did. I stated that I did not hear what he said.
Do you not find that odd? Because I think,
Which part? That I'm getting hard of
no,
hearing?
not the odd that he follows you up to talk to the clerk and the judge. Because I think the public finds that odd. Even if you guys don't, we do. Because there's been an obsession with this farm. We need to have an obsession over our budget and our audit. And make sure it gets done. The farm's tied up in litigation. So let's see some meetings called, like Christine said, for our audit and for our budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Public body comment? Mr. Brown.
I'd like to talk about road and bridge, the highway department. When most of us started 2 years ago, we had a serious problem out there. A lot of you think that the problem was we didn't have an engineer. That was a symptom of a problem. We had to solve the problem and then get an engineer. Had we not solved the problem and got an engineer, that engineer would have run away as fast as the priority did. I keep saying we've got a problem here. The auditors are dumping us. If we get another auditor, it'd be like getting another engineer. They're going to dump us too. We need to solve the problem. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Can I ask him, what do you see as the problem then? What are you seeing that you think needs to be taken? What's the first step that you're thinking needs to be taken then?
I think the department heads need to give their financial information about their departments to the county treasurer. I think the department heads need to cooperate with the county treasurer.
But I'm pretty sure
I answered your question.
Well, okay, well, I'm gonna leave with another one, and you don't have to answer if anybody else can, but I'm pretty sure 1 or 2 county board meetings ago, we had several department heads in attendance that all said they had submitted everything that had been asked for, and the clerk was not missing anything from any department heads. So I don't know how you're saying the department heads aren't turning their stuff in.
I stand by my answer.
And I stand by mine, as well as all the department heads that were here defending themselves.
They hate Erica Fernhaber. I don't know why.
Well, that doesn't mean they're not turning their stuff in. They've all said
They're
they've
not
turned their
cooperating.
stuff in
They're not
this
cooperating.
summer. And how do you know that Erica's being honest with you and telling you she's not getting stuff?
Ms. Payne, Mr. Brown has stated he doesn't want to answer any more of your questions.
Well, that's fine, he doesn't have to, but I'm still throwing out there because there's other board members that, that see it differently.
I understand.
I mean, you have a department head that's been sitting here telling you that everybody's turned stuff in. And she's begging somebody to do something before they lose all of their stuff. And I know you're working on it, as well as Tad, is the only two that spoke up and said they're working on it, or willing to work on it and make calls. I mean, he thinks turning everything in from department heads is the first step. Well, if all that's done, and the department heads are saying it's done,
It's working
that
at the
step's done.
It's working at the highway department.
Mr. Brown.
It's working at the highway department.
Mr. Brown.
Yeah, they turned everything in, as well as probation sitting here saying she turned everything in. That's just pointing fingers. That's a problem that sounds like it's already done. So we're past that step. What's the next step? Because it's obviously not waiting on department heads. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Public body comment. Ms. Bernhaber?
I would just like to say that there is a difference between budget and audit, and I think Heather's right. As Jessica said, the department heads have turned in their budgets for this next fiscal year. Audit is very different, and to Mr. Brown's point, one of the major audit findings that we have had for a long, long time in this county, pre this board, is true and accurate timekeeping. You have a a health department director that refuses to allow time clocks. You've got a sheriff that wants his employees paid based on scheduled hours, not actual worked hours. The timekeeping issue in this county is an extremely significant issue and finding, and it has been year in, year out, year in, year out, long before any of these people took their seats. And there is no cooperation from some department heads to rectify that issue.
So it's just the timekeeping?
It is a significant, issue. I didn't say it's the only issue.
No, I'm saying most of it's timekeeping, you're saying? No, I'm just asking, most of it's timekeeping. I'm not
This board passed an electronic timekeeping policy, and there have been significant number. I'm going to finish my statement,
Ms. Bernhaber, you will wait 1 second. Ms. Bain, I respectfully request that you remain silent during someone else's public body comment. You've had your public body comment. If Ms. Fernhaber wishes to address the board, she can do that. Ms. Fernhaber, I respectfully ask that you not engage with people in the public. It's not proper. I request that you address the board.
This board, thank you. This board passed an electronic timekeeping policy very early on in our tenure in this board to address prior audit findings and to assist with future audit findings. We have met with a significant amount of resistance from some, not all, department heads, to the point some continue to refuse to comply. So it is going to be a problem in the 2023 audit. It's now going to be a problem in the 2024 audit. And if it doesn't get fixed for the next fiscal year, then it's going to be a problem in the 2025 audit. This board has made significant efforts to address prior audit findings, and we have met with obstruction from many in the public, on the board, and some elected officials nonstop throughout all directions. I'm done, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Schiff?
Yeah. I will answer or try to answer her question that she's talking about. She's looking for, and I'm not going to engage with you, but I just want to try to answer. I believe it was in 21, we had an auditor that found multiple discrepancies in the previous sheriff's payroll, and I specifically remember him, I was in the meetings, not as a board member, but as a public, that he said that for this to change, the culture has to change. The culture has to change, and it goes back to timekeeping. The culture has to change. So, just what it is. And with Mr. Brown's comment on the highway department, I'm in that committee. From start to finish, we've seen the culture reverse 180 degrees, and it's working perfectly out there. I mean, maybe not perfectly, but 90% is working perfectly out there. And they're just doing what needs to be done with timekeeping. That's all.
Thank you.
I'd like to point out too, when the auditor did the presentation on the screen, the auditor himself, I believe, said that they could not get the information they needed from the treasurer. They were having to bounce around to different department heads to get information. What more do we?
I know I've
Thank
had
you.
a public comment.
You have.
I was just going to say, when I asked him about that, this has to do with that, and we'll probably clarify what Belina was asking. I specifically asked the auditor, it wasn't that department heads were not submitting their information or not cooperating with them. They absolutely were. I think he even said there wasn't one department head that did not give the information. It's that it's not formatted in the way that they need it formatted to use it in the audit. And that his suggestion was having the information centralized through the treasurer who has that format would make it a lot easier to do the audit. Is if the forms were sent, or if all the information was centralized through that office, because they can't use, some of the information could not be used from the department heads just being randomly sent to them. It wasn't a compliance issue, it was more of a how the information was sent. So, because I specifically asked him about were there department heads that did not comply with them, and he said no, they all sent the information they needed to be, it just couldn't be used to do the audit because it wasn't sent in the proper format.
Public body comment. Mr. Allen.
Yeah, just so the board knows, during that hearing, for those that were not here, when the hearing ended, when the individual spoke to me coming up to this portion of the room, there was no hearing. The judge was not on the screen. It was a discussion that your chairman was having with the clerk. And the comment I make here is, when they attempted to shut him down, is he's a defendant in a case and he has a right to be heard. When the case came back open, when they took the initiative to have the judge come back on screen, I sat over there. And then I witnessed an ex parte discussion between a judge and a defendant without other counsel in the room. And I said, that's an ex parte discussion. And it wasn't 30 seconds later, the judge says, whoa, stop, time out. We can't do this. We need to get the attorneys in here. That's what was said. What I said had nothing to do with the farm. It had an issue with the person's judicial rights. And if you don't understand those rights, you get this chaos. There's nothing, and I'm sorry she left, but there's nothing nefarious about asking things to be done right. The judge recognized it. He corrected it. He made a record of it with witnesses since there wasn't a court reporter. It wasn't some grand conspiracy to do something. I could walk out of here and shake somebody's hand and say goodnight, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, did you see that? You people have destroyed your community. Blame us. The fact of the matter is, you don't get to the bottom of the truth. You just make assumptions and accusations, and when that happens, this is what you get. I'm all done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, I would like to know, after Christina talked to you,
Can I have your name?
why do you want my name?
Because I don't know you.
I don't care. You know who I am, I'm on the ballot.
Well,
Anyway,
That's
what she
required.
asked was,
Required to.
Chrissy Glasgow.
can you please not disrespect me?
Ma'am, I was trying to ask the clerk a question.
It's
and
none
it
of your
was-
business what my name is, you should know it, I'm on the damn ballot.
Ma'am, I
For God's
respect
sake,
it,
all I want to
ma'am.
do is ask you a question. Christina asked you,
Okay.
are you going to have an ASAP budget meeting so we can get this done, so these people can get what they, this girl is killing herself, trying to wait for a budget. Do an ASP, have the meeting tomorrow, people start doing stuff tomorrow. Why is tomorrow too, you want to wait 5 more days? Want to wait till next week? I don't know what you guys are doing. I would just call an emergency meeting and get some shit started. And Jeremy, stop crying about your damn somebody going after you. What do you think happened to Therese? None of you cared about that, so we don't care about yours either. Sorry, but that's just the way I feel. She didn't cry. He's crying.
I didn't shed a tear.
Sorry, I had a bad day.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm done.
Can I finish my 5 minutes?
No, sir. No, sir. Mr. Kraft?
John Kraft, not from Shelby County. Lack of a budget does not constitute an emergency, and so you need to, if you have a meeting, it should probably be a meeting of the committee. This is my personal opinion. I'm not giving legal advice. That's it.
Thanks, sir. Public body comment. Public body comment going twice.
Motion adjourned.
Public body comment going 2 times. I have something to say. To directly to Ms. Wade, yes, we were going to work on this quickly. To the board that voted to put me in this chair, I hope to not let you down. To those that did not vote, I hope to change your opinion. To the public at large, I realize mistakes have been made in the past. I realize that everybody's life is involved here. If we don't get a budget passed, people don't get paychecks. I'm not ignorant to that. I'm also not ignorant to the fact that people have received death threats on this board. People have been taken to court on this board. People have had their jobs on the line. They've had to give answer. Multiple individuals on this board have had their workplace called in attempts to get them fired. I know there are improprieties being sent to someone's house. These are the things that I know of. And to a community at large, it's unacceptable. You can dislike me. You can call me on the phone. You can tell me I'm an idiot. Some of you have. That's one thing. But when we start attacking each other at the level of which we have attacked each other, it's absolutely unacceptable.
You called me a liar.
Mrs. Cole, this is my time.
What's the difference?
The fact that multiple people have had their careers on the line is not acceptable. The past is the past, and we need to move forward. That is as simple as that. There are people on the board that I agree with. There are people that I do not. And there are some that I agree in some areas and not in others. We all have to work together. There's 30 days or so before another election, and it'll be up to that board to take it from there. But for now, I would love to see this board work together for the good of the community, get a budget, get an audit. As has been stated multiple times, the things that are of concern need to be addressed immediately. So I'm asking all board members to set aside differences of opinion, differences of feels, and if somebody's name pops up on your phone that you don't like, answer the phone call, please, so that we can get some stuff done. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Lori, Martha, all those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. What's the name of that thing?
I also have some transportation for my It is Gilbert Dexter, West West.